Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 26 of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Nature Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Became the Next Avatar, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family, and thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Naruto and the group were making their way through the forest, when Naruto draw his blade and instantly slice right through the masked man, but he passed right through him. The masked man arrived, as he stood there, unfazed by Naruto's attack, as Naruto leveled the entire place like explosive, but the man just walked through it like it was nothing. He told them that they had something of his. He found the corpse of Nagato, and it was missing a head. And he knew that Naruto was smart enough not to destroy something so valuable after seeing what Rinnegan can do, as he told him that he would want it right now. But Naruto did not even say a single word as Menma, and Jiraiya was the one that spoke. The man warned him that he does have another sister for them to go after. As Menma was about to lose death, Jiraiya calmed him down. As Naruto was quiet, too quiet, the masked man then went away, threatening them as he moved. The group made their way back to the village, as Naruto had to blow off some steam, as he was livid. This was not anger, this was something else. Uncle Mitarashi were currently making their way to the forest of death when she saw a line of animals. Who was stupid enough to come in here at night? Not to mention how wild the animals were. When she arrived, she saw Naruto sitting there on the corpses of the spiders, hundreds of them. As he walked past her, he didn't say a single word, as she was afraid to ask because she felt the aura coming from him that chilled her to her bone. The next morning, Naruto was finally able to cool down, as Sesame came to him. But she couldn't get to say what she wanted to say because he had to meet up with his father. After that, he met up with Kakashi, as he asked him to show him the ability that he showed them once they were on that mission. As Kakashi told him about the Kamui, as he explained further details about it, as he asked Naruto what did he want to know about it, but Naruto told him that it was nothing for now. So with that, the time flew by. War was coming, and everyone knew that. Ninjas were getting ready, people were getting ready. Kabuto Yakushi was watching everything from the sidelines, waiting for his perfect opportunity to strike. Only he used 2,000 warriors as he was able to subdue the hidden rain, and his troops could pass through there freely. They were trying to corner the land of fire by going all around it. Kurosaki was currently passing through the sea, right near the coast, but they wouldn't enter here, so they can corner Konoha from all angles. She failed in the past. She wouldn't feel her grandfather ever again. Goro and his forces stood at the border, as they were about to repel the 2,000 Kumo ninjas that were coming towards them. As Samui was the one leading the charge, she was already told what to do, and they wouldn't back down. As she apologized, she couldn't back down, even though Goro wanted her to stand down, because this was going to be a bloodbath. As she brought a lot of water and ninjutsu users, Minato told them by the link to stay back, as he wanted that squad to be cleared away immediately, so they can push forward to conquer more land, and made their way towards Land of Stone, because he wanted to end this war quickly, because someone was coming. It was then a blue, flaming tiger came, and summoned none other than the man himself, Naruto Uzumaki Senju, as he stood there in all of his glory. Samui cursed. This was not expected. He wasn't supposed to be here, not right here, not right now. This was bad. Really, really bad. So yeah guys, so it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the play, check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? We begin this episode at the mountain graveyard. Sitting down on one of the nearby boulders was none other than Madara Uchiha himself. As he sat in all of his glory, the ghost of the Uchiha, that was the name given to him. He had his mask on his face as Zetsu rose out of the ground. Things are getting started, Black Zetsu said. The field is getting rather hot, said White Zetsu. When are we gonna intervene? Not yet. I plan to make them weaken each other first, so we can end this with one fell swoop. What about the Rinnegan? Asked Black Zetsu. As the masked man didn't say anything, because you know if he destroys it, the setback of your plans would be enormous. Naruto is a rather smart fellow. He gets his brains from his father. I doubt he would go and destroy the Rinnegan. Those eyes are too valuable after what he has seen. Over the past few years he has shown to be one of the most ruthless Konoha ninja in history. And I doubt he would throw away all that power. So I'm counting on him having it. And what if he doesn't, asked Black Zetsu. Then the plan will change. But nothing will stop me from achieving my overall plan. As Madara Uchiha just sat there. A part of him was rather angry that Naruto was able to get his hands on the Rinnegan. At the moment he didn't actually know who had it. But if things got too worse, he was gonna march straight towards Konoha and kidnap that little sister of his and force him to hand over the Rinnegan. It was only a matter of time. But he had to be careful. Over the past few years the boy has shown to be a master at Fuinjutsu. He doubted that it would be so easy to get into Konoha at this time. After all, the villages were at war. The main thing was to keep your home protected and safe. But still, nothing will stop him from gaining the Rinnegan. Nothing will stop him from achieving his dream. Absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, he was talking to himself on the battlefield. Samui and her troops stood there. Over 2,000 ninjas strong. All of them stood in one formal line, looking towards the man that stood in front of them on the sand ridge. He stood on a sand ridge that made him look down upon them like they were nothing but peasants. Like they weren't even worth his time. His eyes actually looked disinterested. There was a blue flaming lion beside him, or a tiger. Most of them did not know. As Samui looked up towards her, she wasn't expecting this. She was surprised when his eyes looked towards her with the realization. I know you, said Naruto. As she remembered his voice quite clearly, but it has gotten a lot deeper than before. At the Chunin exams. Yes, I remember you quite well, she said. Are you in charge of this force? He asked her. That is correct, she said. Then you'll be the first one I kill. As everyone was surprised at that, while the people behind him, the way he spoke, it left no word for arguing. Like what he said he was gonna do, he was gonna do it. As Temari had a small blush on her cheek, nothing too noticeable. As she was remembering the time, as she shook her head, focused on the battle in front of her. That was the past, and things didn't actually work out to that point. It was just, well, something between them, a moment. Nothing expected from either party. So, this is a guy, huh? Said Conqueror as he hadn't seen Naruto in a long while. What's that supposed to mean? Asked Temari. I didn't say anything, said Conqueror. As Temari just turned her head back towards the scene, she saw Gaara standing there. Aren't we gonna help? She asked. Gaara stepped forward as he beckoned his troops to stay behind him. Naruto, he said. As Naruto turned towards him. Kazekage. I told you don't have to be so formal, said Gaara. Okay then, Gaara, said Naruto. My father wants you and your troops to move forward, to conquer more of the lands before these ninjas would get past and try to take the sand, because we can't allow them to do that. Well, as Kazekage, it's my duty to protect my home, and I assure you I will not allow them to pass. But you see, Gaara, they're not here to get in right away. They're here to kill you. Those ninjas at the front, they're all set up perfectly for their water style ninjutsu. Gaara narrowed his eyes. How would you know that? You just got here. Judging from the ground, and judging that most sand ninjas don't favor water style ninjutsu, it seems that they found out that your sand is quite vulnerable to water. Well, enough, said Naruto. But I doubt that you've been slacking back over the years. And you would be right, said Gaara. Well then, said Naruto, I will handle this. And then you and your troops can move forward. As Naruto turned his head back towards Samui, you speak so confidently. Like you actually believe that you can take us all, she said. He might be strong, but he was suicidal if he think he could take all 2,000 of them. Who the hell does this guy think he is? Crimson Death or not, let's kill him, a voice said from the crowd. A smile came on Naruto's face. Gaara felt the shift. It was so fast. Samui blinked as Naruto stood in front of her. His blade appeared in his hand. She already gripped her blade tight, as she was lucky enough to bring it up as it clashed against her sword. Her sword shattered upon impact, forcing her to move back as she got sliced right across her chest. She jumped back to her crew as they instantly came in front of her. As Naruto's blade vanished, they instantly started to go through hand sign, as Naruto did the same. Wood style, he said. Nativity of the sea of trees as he slammed his hand down on the ground. The earth rumbled as the ninjas watched as vines so large burst from the earth itself. It came in fast. Many screams could be heard as they were entangled. The vines wrapped around them. They were large as ninjas were squashed under it. As Naruto waited until it enveloped the entire field, he then went through another set of hand sign. Explosion release. Chain reaction. As he placed his hand down on the ground, the chakra from his hand went toward the tree vines. And slowly but surely, they started to glow. As one of them went off. Just as the jutsu implied, it was a chain reaction. Hundreds of explosions went off in seconds. As the field was decimated in a shower of explosions, debris flew everywhere as a massive mushroom went up in the sky. The cloud was massive and tall. The explosion lasted for a good 3 minutes. As Naruto stood there unfazed by it all, when the smoke finally cleared away, there was bodies littered everywhere. Many of them had died. In the thousands. Gaara stepped beside Naruto. That was truly impressive, he said. It's not done yet, said Naruto. And he was right. As they started to break from the ground, some of them had used earth jutsus to go underneath the earth, and they started to emerge. But there was only a handful of them. Not enough to cause a serious threat. As Naruto pulled his blade. You've already done enough, said Gaara. Let us know. I finished what I started, said Naruto. And he vanished. He was like a blur on the field. As Kankuro stepped up beside of his brother, as he watched the blur moving through everyone, they weren't given a chance to breathe. It's lucky that he's on our side, huh? Said Kankuro. He was making a joke, but he was right. As they watched as Naruto cut down all of them in a matter of minutes. 2,000 strong was obliterated by just one man. The forces were annihilated, gone, wiped away within minutes. Many of the ninjas stood there. They couldn't believe what they just saw. Something like this shouldn't be possible. But many of them were relieved. With him on their side, there was no doubt that they could win this war rather quickly. As Gaara narrowed his eyes towards Naruto, despite slaughtering so much, there wasn't even a shred of guilt or hesitation in his movements. He guessed the rumors about him was correct. He wasn't one to hassle himself about emotions or things that would hold him back. As Naruto flashed beside Gaara, it's done, he said. It's up to you and your forces to cover as much ground as possible before they send out another wave of their shinobis. I see you want to get this over with, huh? Said Kankuro, making some light conversations. As Naruto turned towards him. Yes, he said. As he then turned his head towards Temari. Tamara, he said. There was actually a small smile on his face. It's delightful to see you again. You too, she said. He turned his head back towards Gaara. I bid you farewell, Gaara, he said. With that, he vanished. As he was reverse summoned, as Gaara noticed the lion was gone. As the people around him was still silent, stunned at the event that they just watched. How the hell is he still going, someone said. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that cause a lot of chakra? You idiot. He's the whole of the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. And I heard that he has full control of his beast inside of him. So I don't think that chakra is a problem for him. Everyone, said Gaara, as he gathered their attention. We were able to pass through today without a single loss. Naruto has entrusted us to move on and win this war as quickly as possible. So let us, he said, as the people cheer. They were grateful for Naruto, but they couldn't just let Konoha show them all up. After all, the Sand was strong as well. So with that, they move out, ready to embark on the battlefield. Time skip. As the Raikage was standing with the Kichikage, the both of them in a secluded area, when someone came in with the news. The Raikage smashed the table to pieces in anger. What? Yes, sir. The man said in fright, the messenger, as he looked towards the Raikage. They're breaching towards us from the east. What about the 2,000 troops? They're gone, sir. Gone? Well, that was fast, Oniki said. The Raikage sent him a nasty glare. But Oniki still continued. Do you think that Minato is already in the battlefield? No. He wouldn't join the battle so quickly. I bet it was one of his brats. To think they have already gotten this strong. The Raikage's face was clenched so tight, as he was angry. 2,000 of his ninjas just gone like that. Let them move as much as they like, Oniki said, because they will not get past. And not to mention, Kurosaki has delivered the information they have gotten through by sea, so it's only be a matter of time before they get around. And with the other ninjas passing through Land of Rain, we will have Konoha surrounded in no time. So, there's nothing for you to be worried about. We both know that this war would cause a lot of casualties. You're just saying that because your ninjas haven't got killed yet, said the Raikage. Well, that is true. We knew that this war will be harmful on both sides. But this is no time to lose your head, said Onki. Because we started this, and we have to win. And we're gonna win. The Raikage calmed himself down. As he took a breath. He couldn't afford to lose this. This would not end until Konoha was defeated. Because he already saw what Konoha was doing. They took Onki to pieces. He was sure that they were going to try and take his. And that meant his brother. And he couldn't allow that to happen. Meanwhile, at HQ. It's done, said Inoichi. All of them? Said Minato. Even he was a bit surprised. Well, seems like your son has shattered our expectations once again, said Shikaku. But this is good. With Gaara Force no moving out, we have more ground to cover. And they won't be getting close to us anytime soon. Now we have to worry about the passage through Hidden Rain and the sea. Kira has already sent the messages that the ninjas have passed by. As Minato was happy about that. If the Raikage or Oniki ever knew that the Mizukage was helping them by delivering them information about the army, the exact amount, and the forces, they would definitely go after her as well. But she was in no state to enter a war right now, and Kira would be plundered. But she was risking it all to send them information, and that was good. It will take a few more days for the second company to get there, and it would take a few more days for those shinobis to arrive from sea. But they will try to pass through the Land of Wave. That is where the rest of our shinobis will cut them off from the coast, so they wouldn't be able to attack the village or enter through into the Fire Nation. As Minato nodded. Now, for this force right here, the Stone Shinobis. The commander is pushing them right forward. They have already breached through the Hidden Rain. It will take them a couple of days to make their way through and arrive towards the Land of Fire. But Fukaku and his team are there, and they should be able to hold off that group. From the information that we've got, half of them are staying behind the Hidden Rain, so it's only half of them And there's roughly 3,000 shinobis there. So that means 1,500 against our 800 there under Fukaku's command. Do you think that will be enough? Asks Hiruzen, Fukaku, Menma, and Seisumi, and a few of the elite Uchihas, and several other powerful members are all out there. I think that should be enough, said Minato, as he was putting great faith in them. I won't deny you there, Hokage-sama, said Shikaku. After all, Naruto was powerful, but Menma was not dropping behind either. The boy was well, dangerous foe in the battlefield. And not to mention Fukaku of the Wicked Eye. It wouldn't be so easy, and not to mention his daughter was a powerful kunoichi by herself. So they should be able to handle that force. If they need backup, Jiraiya's team can rendezvous with them in a few days. They can hold off the enemy for that amount of time. I'm sure they can. I doubt they will need the backup, said Minato. But let's just see how things plays out. Wait, Hiruzen said. Where exactly is Naruto right now? He asks, as everyone seemed to snap by that. As they turn towards Inoichi, there hasn't been any contact so far. Where the hell was Naruto? Minato started to panic a bit. This was war. Naruto might be strong, but you always need the people on your side. You always need the backup. One mistake in this ninja world, and everything can go out in a second. He almost lost his son once. He would never let it happen again. Meanwhile, that was going on, as Katsume was currently sitting down in the living room of the house. She looked sad, as Kushina came in with his snacks. As Kushina also looked down, you could see from her presence alone that she was in a happy mood. But she didn't want that for her daughter. Katsume, honey, what's wrong? I'm worried about Naruto and Menma. And father, she said, as Kushina sat down with her daughter. They had given us their words that they will come back. So, all you have to do right now is believe in them. I know, but I'm still worried. I hear some people talking. About what? About war. And they said that war is a dangerous thing and anyone can die at any time. What if they die, Mom? I never get to see them again. What am I gonna do? She asks. As there was a sad look on Kushina's face, she also thought about that possibility of war. You would never know. As she placed a loving kiss on her daughter's forehead. All you have to do is have hope. And I'm sure that can guide them. After all, they need you to keep on believing in them. They're doing this for you, all of us, to keep us safe. So, believe in them as much as you can, okay? Alright, I will, Mom, she said. And they're gonna come back no matter what, she said. That's more like it, said Kushina. Meanwhile, near towards the border, Menma was currently with Fukaku Company. As the news was already spreading through the ranks, 2,000s off. The Kumo shinobis were wiped out by Naruto Uzumaki himself. As Menma had a smirk on his face. Show off, he thought to himself. He knew that Naruto would do something big as the war just started to put his name out there already. Well, he can't afford to slap behind. He knew that this was a dangerous thing, after all it was war. But his rivalry inside of him was still there, and he wasn't going to let Naruto show him up so much. But yet he was happy that things were going smoothly. They were not the ones that started this. Menma had no remorse for these people. They came after them. They kidnapped his brother, almost killing him. Screw them. They were not going to stop until this was over. He had made a vow to his brother a long time ago. They did not stop until the enemy was defeated and could no longer come after them. And not to mention what that masked man said about Katsume. Menma was going to find him and he was going to tear his heart right out of his chest and end him once and for all. You seem rather happy. As he looked up to see Seisumi. More like relief, said Menma, as she sat down beside him. You don't seem relieved, he asked. I'm worried, she said. I've been on the field many times before, but you and Naruto, and many other shinobis out here, have faced off against countless odds of enemies. I've not. And I guess this is just a bit overwhelming. Don't count yourself so short, said Menma. You've proven to be a rather fine kunoichi. You just have to believe in yourself, and you know you can do this. And besides, I'm gonna be here to watch your back. And doesn't matter what happened, they will have to get through to me, to get to you. She smiled at that. Thank you, Menma, she said. I heard that you and Sakura started the date. Well, I figured that she would tell you. You are her best friend after all. I'm happy for you two, said Sesame. Although she said that, there was a look of, well, sadness in her face. He loves you, you know. She blinked at that. Hmm? He might not even notice it. But since you guys were younger, becoming friends, there was always this connection there. I thought that eventually it would play out. But given what happened to him, things were set back. But I'm sure, after all this is over, he will find his way back to us, and to you as well. As she smiled upon hearing that. So all you have to do is make sure that we come out of this alive, and do not fall. A look of determination came in her eyes. As she nodded, time skip a few days later. Oniki was pissed. Not just him, but the Raikage as well. Things were not going as they planned. So far, they were unable to get a single man through. They were nowhere close to land a fire and their forces were being pushed back one after another. They couldn't allow for this to happen, because the more Konoha pushed them back, the more they're in danger of them entering their lands. And the moment they got past the cloud and enter into their village, it was done. They would be able to cause wreckage on their forces instantly, because they would be inside their village, and they couldn't allow that. Report, Onki said, as he looked towards the standby man. The man standing there, he didn't look like a fighter, as he had a list in his hand. So far, we've suffered over 8,000 plus casualties. As Oniki clenched his hand, it's just been a goddamn few days. Usually wars stay for months, but it's just been a few days. Sir, these Uzumaki brothers are popping up all over the field. They're decimating our forces. The Raikage looked towards his man. Same's go for you, he said. Sir, we lost over 9,000 plus, he said. The Raikage clenched his fist in anger. These Uzumaki brothers are not slowing down. One after another, they're taking out huge forces. They're moving quickly and taking down a lot of them. But they've been missing for the past day and a half. They must be on standby resting now. Not even then can go on. I think this is the right time. As Onki advised her nod as well, Onki looked towards Raikage. We should use this opportunity to push forward. Minato is not entering the field yet. Konoha has not suffered enough loss as we have. Neither has the San. And we can't allow this to drag on because we will run out of men before they do. We came in this with more men than them. And now we're almost on the same equal playing field. So let's deploy the forces now and move out. The Raikage looked towards his man beside him. Send out the Kinkaku force, he said. Sir, you hear me right now. We're going to recapture Shirku Castle right here. As the Raikage pointed towards the map, Konoha has taken away the castle from them in just 2 days, and now they had it under siege. As the man nodded as he went off to give his message. Well then, I suppose I can't just lay back either, said Onki, as he looked towards the advisor. You know what to do, but we're going to strike here first. The mountain will be recaptured. As the advisor nodded. Meanwhile, Naruto was currently sitting down. He was currently in the fire capital, more specifically, in the Daimyo's residence. The Daimyo had to be kept well protected. After all, if the Daimyo for their economy will be messed around so much, it will be hard to recover afterwards. The stone ninjas had tried to breach right through with their overwhelming forces. It had forced Naruto and Menma to gang up on them. After Menma was able to completely take out all the stone ninjas trying to push through the hidden rain, him along with Fukaku and Sesame. And once Naruto had gotten the news, as Menma arrived, the 6,000 forces that came here had faced off against both him and Menma, along with 3,000 mixed San and Konoha ninja. They were able to completely wipe out the crew, but it was not so easy. They suffered casualties on their side as well, but not as much. But even though Naruto was powerful and also Menma, it was like they could continue on for days or weeks upon end. They had to rest. and at the moment, they've been resting for the past day and a half. The force that's been doing well without them Gaara had conquered Shuri Castle, and it was now under his command. Jiraiya and his forces has conquered the hill, and they were almost circling a stone. Oniki must be rather furious with that turn of event. As Naruto heard footsteps, as he saw someone walking towards him, he was surprised. Surprised to see me. The old man spoke. His name was Raza, as he was a daimyo. Naruto knew him very well. The man had offered Naruto to join his Guardian 12, but Naruto had declined. Still, the daimyo had sent a lot of missions his way. Missions that Naruto was able to do without hesitating. Missions that were underhanding, backstabbing, and just cruel, that most other shinobis would hesitate to do. But Naruto was not most other shinobis. Not even Minato knew about these missions. That is why the daimyo liked Naruto so much. Although he couldn't exactly completely control him. After all, he was still under the Hokage's authority. But still, Naruto was a ninja that wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. After all, there was a lot of shady business that the daimyo concocted. And Naruto was the right man that were able to wipe out his competition. "You shouldn't be out here," said Naruto. "Well, just in that you're right here," said Raza. "I doubt that it would be so easy for anyone to come and take my head." Naruto was supposed that he was right by that. "Have you given any thought on my proposal?" Daimyo asked. "Which one?" said Naruto. "You know what I'm talking about," said Raza. "My daughter. You know that many men would kill for this opportunity. But you're not exactly many men, are you?" "Yes, I'm not," said Naruto. "And I've thought it over." "You have? And what will..." "No," said Naruto. You know, many other ninjas would do as their daimyo tell them right away. I mean, I am the one bringing the finances to Konoha." As Naruto turned towards him, there was a half smile on his face that kind of scared the daimyo. But it wasn't wicked or cruel or anything. It just unnerved him a bit. "You offering your daughter to me, and because I said no, are you trying to say that you will cut Konoha founding?" Naruto asked. "Of course not," Daimyo said. "I never uttered those words, and I will not. I'm just saying most others what they would do." "Well, most others would do that to idiotic ninjas that don't know who's really in charge here." "And what do you mean by that?" the man asks. "Well, think about it. If Konoha was suddenly able to relinquish all of your hold on this land and move back towards the village, who will defend you?" "My Guardian 12, of course. And my samurais." "Against everyone," said Naruto. "The Stone and Kumo have started this war because they want your head as well," said Naruto. "Because once you fall all of your resources, your money, your power, your name, it means nothing. Because they will have it," said Naruto. "So most daimyos, as you say, wouldn't be stupid enough to bring this talk to an intelligent ninja who really know what is going on. Because without the villages like the Sand or Kiri, the daimyos would be worthless. Not worthless in a sense because they have the money. But when you think about it, a ninja can easily walk up to a daimyo," said Naruto as he stepped forward, "and slice his throat right open. And where would the money get him? I mean, like someone like me, right inside your palace. I mean, if I was to attack you right now, who would stop me?" The daimyo's sweat dropped as he gulped a bit. "Well then, it's a good thing that I'm not saying anything like that, and that you're on our side. You have done many works for me in the past, Naruto, and I hope we can continue working together," he said. "And I have no problem there," said Naruto. "But that will be a no one marrying your daughter." "Yes," the man said. "Well then, I will be off." As he made his way off. "You heard that, didn't you?" said Naruto. "That was a rather risky move that you made. I know he was pushing it, but you know that he has a lot of power, right? Yes. And despite that, he needs to know who's really in charge, said Naruto. And you are? Said Menma. Not exactly, but, well. Are you thinking of becoming Hokage, Menma asked. Huh. That's the first time you asked me that, said Naruto. Well, you have the traits of being a leader. Cold, the ruthlessness. The intention to do whatever it takes to make sure that Konoha is safe. I guess you're right about that, said Naruto, but Hokage is not my thing. But you on the other hand. Me? Menma said. Can't you see that you have all the traits of our father? And you'd be perfect for the spotlight. And what about you, said Menma. I'll be your shadow Hokage, said Naruto. Keep the village protected from the shadows. Guess that can work. Here we are talking about these things, when we aren't the one making the decision. Well then, let's make our name known in this war, shall we? Our name is already known, said Menma. But by the end of this war, the entire world will fear it. That's what you're going for, fear, said Menma. Not for our foes, but for the enemy, said Naruto. Father already told you the plan. This is not going to stop until it's all over. Until the stone and Kumo are no longer hidden villages. Their daimyos will be taken. If they refuse, they will be killed. Their jinjulkis, their power, their army will be slaughtered. Leaving them the bare minimum. This time there is no peace treaty. There is no giving up. There is no backing out. This time, we end this. We made a promise a long time ago, Menma. And I need your support right now, to know that you're not gonna go back on your word. Menma looked Naruto dead in the eyes. You're my brother. And over the years, we've been through thick and thin. And you know I will never leave you out to dry, as he held out his hand. As Naruto grabbed his hand and shook his hand. Well then, let us end this, shall we? Time skip. A day later, Jiraiya looked towards the 8,000 plus that was coming his way. The stone was making a rash move. As the information being sent back to headquarters, yet Jiraiya asked. As the man beside him nodded, Jiraiya only had 2,000 plus behind him. This was not expected. 8,000 plus was coming right towards his army, and he didn't have the efficient numbers to handle them. But they had to hold them off until backup arrived, because they could not let them get through. Jiraiya watches the army stop, as he saw a few ninjas came out of the army. There was 20 of them in total. All of them were wearing special ops uniform. They were wearing a mask on their face, and they were marching. They were walking straight towards Jiraiya and his group. Jiraiya already had his hands locked together. He couldn't afford for them to come any closer. He couldn't afford for them to overwhelm them with the numbers, as his hands were glowing by now. Suddenly there was a poof. Ah, Jiraiya boy. Things must be getting hectic for you to call us. Paul looked over as he saw the army coming. It seems that they're making a guerrilla tactic to hit hard and strong. But who are these ones, said Ma, and why have they separated from the group? I have no idea, said Jiraiya, as he looked towards the stone ninjas. Were they some special op crew or something? They looked like they were, as they were all masked and ready, strapped to the teeth, ready for anything. Suddenly Yamanaka came over. Jiraiya-sama, I have news from HQ. As Jiraiya nodded, as the Yamanaka linked him up. Jiraiya, Kakashi and Menma and the other forces will take at least a couple hours to get to you. You'll have to hold them off until then. Do you think you can do that? Yes, but as you know, the enemy is going in heavy. I know that, Sensei, but I need you to hold on until they arrive there. I'll do my best, said Jiraiya. There's also a strange company here that I've never seen before. A special ops, asked Minato. I'm not sure, but we'll hold them off. Just make sure they get here in time. Don't worry, Sensei, they will. As they broke the connection, as the enemy was ready to move. But before they could interact with anything, there was sounds coming from behind them. As Jiraiya and his group turned when they saw an army of lions coming towards them. On the lions' back was monkeys. The monkeys had staff spears. These were no natural monkeys, they were the summons of Menma, and the lions were Naruto. A smirk came on Jiraiya's face. Seems they were not leaving them out to dry. As the first lion came forward, it was bigger than usual. His fur was golden like his father. Yes, he was the son of Mufasa. As he came forward, judging from your description, you're Jiraiya. Am I correct? Yes, Jiraiya said. I am Simba, the lion introduced himself. And I am Kane, the monkey on top of him said. We were sent by Naruto and Menma to give you aid until the remaining forces arrive. As Jiraiya gave them a nod, Jiraiya-sama, they're coming, Yamanaka said. The elite force were already speeding through Hanstein. Everyone, he said, get ready. Meanwhile that was going on, a massive wave of sand was pushed straight up in the sky before it came down and it smashed into a wave of forces. The Kumo shinobis were sent sailing. They were knocked back by the force of the sand. The sand rose up in the air as it turned into bullets and shot forward. One of the Kumo shinobis went through one sand and released a massive fireball from his mouth that turned those sand bullets into glass as they dropped and shattered. As Gaara stood there, his forces were facing off against a bulk of Kumo ninjas. He had to keep the line steady until the remaining forces engaged. The team at the wave had just interacted, saying that these ships were currently making their way. The enemy was speeding up the time. They were not holding anything back, they were releasing everything they got. Gaara heard a massive explosion as he watched as ninjas were sent sailing. His ninjas to be exact. As he saw Timar release a gust that picked up several ninjas before it was dissipated. What the hell? It was then that Gaara felt it. A malicious chakra that seemed to swallow the air. As the Sand Ninjas and the Konoha Ninjas looked at each other in fright. What the hell? Was it the tail beasts? Were they on the field? But it was not them. Sir, as someone came rushing back to Gaara, there's a force of Kumo ninjas that are somehow using tail beast power. As Gaara quickly made his way over the ridge as he saw them, a force at least 20, all of them were wearing masks. Gaara didn't know, but it was Kinkaku force, an elite force from Kumo. They was led by Kinkaku and Ginkaku in the past. After Ginkaku and Kinkaku had eaten the contents of Ninetale's stomach to gain some of its power, the forces had been put under experiments. The Eight Tails and the Two Tails chakra. Many of them had died, but some of them had survived. The Raikage never stopped the testing. He only sent his elite force out in dire situations. They could not manifestate all the power of the tail beast, but they had the cloak and they can push it into second stage, but they had no tails behind them. The experiment had went off in balance, and at the same time balance, because they had their mindset and the power behind it to back it up. Although they weren't as strong as the full-powered Bijus, as the Nibe, or as the Haxabi, that is why the Raikage hasn't sent out his full forces, they were strong enough. As they let out their arms, they extended. Gaara raised his hand, but it was too late as the arms tear right through it. It was like a hot knife going through butter. He watched as countless of his ninjas got slaughtered. It was then that puppets started to rain down on them. But the forces just crashed through them. They were like an unstoppable army. The Kumo ninjas had pulled back, allowing Kinkaku force to move forward. They were being led by one man. He had grayish hair. He had a half mask on his face. His eyes were silver. He had no cloak around him. No survivors. As all of his forces nodded as they moved forward. As the battle started, it was chaos as it happened. Everything went to hell in just a couple of minutes. Gaara forces were being pushed back, 2,000 plus, as they were being wiped out by the dozen. Chaos and death spread through the air as Gaara watched. Countless of his ninjas got wiped out, one after another. Gaara started to tap into the power of the Shikaku. Massive sand arms with black linings on it. As it slammed into the forts, Gaara ripped two of them apart. But still, they were fast, they were strong. And not to mention everything went worse when they started gather chuckling their mouths, their stomachs enlarged. They opened their mouth as fire came from it. This fire was unusually hot before it even released and got near the group. Ninjas started to burn. Chaos and destruction spread across the area as Gaara-san was turned into glass. The captain moved forward and one kick he shattered the giant arms of Shikaku, forcing Gaara back. All of them then dropped around him. When released, Wing Sight Jutsu! Temari released a massive gust that slammed right into the captain. He crossed his arms and he was thrown. The man flipped in mid-air and landed on his feet in a boom. He did not let that stop him though. Take her out and everyone else! The group roared as they charged forward like maniacs. As they were moving through the crowd, as they weren't being stopped, they were too overwhelming. Their strength was incredible. That was when Gaara rose back up as his sand came up like a tsunami. It pushed them back, giving his forces enough time to breathe. As Gaara created a massive sand arm that slammed down on them. A few of them got pulled back as he clenched his fists. They were squashed. Blood and gore spread everywhere. Out of the 20, 12 of them jumped back, as 8 of them were slaughtered in the attack. The commander's eyes narrowed as he looked towards Gaara, killing him first. Arms extended from their stage 2 form and came down on Gaara as his sand clashed into it. A massive raccoon tail was created and blattered them away until the commander released a bolt of lightning that struck Gaara's sand. It was so powerful that it literally turned into glass. The heat was that intense. The commander then flashed through one sign. Lightning released false darkness. The sand was shattered as Gaara brought up his defense, but it pierced right through him and struck him back. As Gaara crashed on the ground, his body slowly healing by the Shikaku inside of him, he picked himself up as Temari instantly flanked him and released a massive gust mixed with his sand that created a sand wave. She grabbed Gaara and jumped out of there as their forces moved back. The Kinkaku forces also stepped back as well, 12 of them remaining. Well, the Kazekage was not one to be trifled with after all. Meanwhile that was going on, the Hidden Stone and Kumo suffered immense loss, said Zetsu as he was currently speaking to the masked man. As the masked man was smiling under his mask, the white Zetsu that you left with Oniki and the Raikage has come back with news. They said that it's time for you to join the war. Their forces are getting hit one after another, and they want the aid of the Akatsuki now. Well, more like Oniki demanded it. That short senile old fool. Well, let him keep on believing that we're under his control for now. Send out the Zetsus. Let them be the first one to intake in the battle. Tell Kabuto to hold back the reanimations. Let's see how much the Zetsus can take down before the morale of the Leaf Village and the Sand Village break. Zetsu nodded as he went back underground. Meanwhile, back on the battlefield, as Gaara was being healed, the lightning had ripped through his sand like it was nothing. That man was indeed powerful. To think that the Raikage has been hiding such an elite force under his belt. Well, he was waiting for an opportunity like this after all to release them. This was bad. The reinforcements are going to take a long while to get here. Temari. How much, he said. Half, said Temari. Gaara clenched his fists as he was in pain, but half of his numbers had been stripped down. As he tried to pick himself back up, you're not in any condition to get back in the fight yet. She's right, Kazekage-sama, the medic from the sand said. You need time. I can't afford to stay here and just rest while my people are out there dying, said Gaara. As the wound on his chest has already been healed up enough as he picked himself up, Gaara said to Temari, I made them a promise I will fight for them, as long as they fight for me, and I will not go back on that promise. It was then that an explosion went off. as everyone had to shield their face as dust and debris was thrown. What the hell is that? Said Gara, as they quickly made their way outside. As the King Hu forces had pushed themselves into level 2, they were fighting someone. As Gara saw the meteor, it was like a meteor had dropped from the sky because there was a crater in the ground. Someone arrived. He was in the depths of the army, as a feet coated in Biju's chakra snapped into the neck of one of the King Hu forces. The man's neck snapped as his body was hurled forward. All the King Hu members focused on this person right here. As Naruto stood in front of them, "Come," he said. As the commander looked towards his forces. So this was the guy, huh? The commander stepped forward as he narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. "The rest of you, who about the Sand and Konoha ninjas? This one is ours." As the King Hu member surrounded Naruto. "So I'm your prey, huh?" said Naruto. "Yes, and you walk right into our trap. And I'm afraid you're not gonna leave alive. The last time I was told that, I slaughtered all of my foes and ended up escaping. So, let us dance." Meanwhile, the scouts that were looking out for the forces saw something strange. "Sir, something is coming. But these things, they're not normal." "What do you mean?" The commander went out as he got the binoculars. What the hell? Strange white man with green hair was coming towards them. Just what the hell are these things? Meanwhile, as Kabuto was currently smiling to himself, it was time that he got the show started. After all, everyone else was having fun. What about him? But guys, if you and subscribe right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.